Well, welcome to the Paul Cervizzi Show. I'm delighted and honored today to have Laurie Haverty with us, an exercise guru times 10, entrepreneur on steroids, I would say.
Thank you so much.
Oh, so much. So nice to have you on.
I'm excited. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
having
And I
me.
know you just came from class,
I did.
and you got more classes this afternoon, and you're just like a nonstop boom, 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 boom. So you are a Reading Rocket, right? From
Yes.
Reading, born in Reading, still live in Reading,
Correct.
and haven't left.
That's right. So was born in Reading. I have 3 siblings, and we all live in Reading except one.
All of the what?
All of us live in Reading except one
Okay,
of us.
so, okay, got it.
We harass her daily, saying she's got to get back to Reading.
Okay.
But yeah, and then I own 2 of my businesses are in Reading and 1 in Winchester.
Awesome. So we'll get to the business. Tell me a little bit about life in the household growing up. So you mentioned you have 3 siblings.
I do. I have 2 sisters and a brother. He's
Okay.
the youngest. He's the king.
He's the boy's the king.
Boy's the king,
Okay.
Italian household.
Okay.
Our dad passed away when we were very young. So the 4 of us were 10, 8, 5, and 1.
Oof.
Yeah. We have an amazing mother. So she raised
What's
all of
mom's
us.
name?
Mom's name is Diane.
Diane.
She's
Okay.
wonderful.
Yep.
And she basically raised us with never knowing that we had a loss or that we were like victims of any type of loss. She came to every game. I was a cheerleader, and she came to every competition. My brother played football and baseball. She never missed anything. My sisters played sports, softball. It was like she was 12
She
people
did it all
at
on her
once.
own.
All
12
on her
people
own.
in one.
Yeah.
So now I know where you
Yeah.
get you get the DNA
It's
from,
very true,
right?
very
Holy
true.
cow. And we'll dive into that. So, wow, so what was it like? I mean, you got siblings, you got this strong-willed mom.
We had a great family. We had great aunts and uncles that were
Okay.
a big part of it. My grandparents on my mom's side also lived in Reading, so they were a huge part of our life. Like,
So you had a lot of
yeah,
family
big village.
at a village.
Yeah,
Right.
great
And it
village.
takes that, just like, we'll get into in a little
Yeah.
bit about business and entrepreneurial mindset. It's not just about us, is it?
No, it's
It's
not.
about the village, right?
That's right.
So you had a lot of support. Old-fashioned Italian family?
Yeah, very
like-
old-fashioned Sunday dinner every
Yeah.
Sunday. Yep. I would say my grandparents were much better cooks than my mom. She did her best.
That's
but-
okay. Yeah, she got to have a lot
So we
going on.
we ate at their house a lot. And
Yep.
a lot of our family vacations were done together with all the aunts and uncles and the nieces and my grandparents.
All went together.
Yeah, it was very nice.
Isn't it? You look back and you smile because I remember the Sunday, every Sunday, set time, the menu, this was happening.
And you don't know it until you're an adult.
I
You
know.
don't realize it.
I mean, but look what goes on today.
Right. No one's doing it.
Nobody does it. Like you eat on the fly. Even when
right.
your kids are younger, you're like,
That's right.
you're running around.
100%.
So why though? Like, what do you think?
Well,
What did we lose? Because I really
yeah.
feel like I had this discussion many times with my 2 20-plus-year-olds, just about the generational shift and just how things were. And then I get criticized like, oh, yeah, you're old. That's not
yeah, they don't actually hear how we lived.
Yeah,
they don't.
they don't.
Like, we played kickball on the street. We didn't have more than one TV in the house. You had to share a phone. No one had a cell phone. You were outside all day. You literally waited for the ice cream man truck to come.
Oh
and
my
buy ice
God!
cream.
For the music
Yeah,
to
you
stop
waited
playing,
for it,
Yeah.
yeah.
There was an innocence,
100%.
right? Like you said, you go out all day, and then
She'd say,
mom
"Come back
or
for
whoever
lunch."
would say, "Come back in." You go in, you go back out.
That's right.
You got the ice cream truck, and it's like that innocence, that sense of, you mentioned a village, but it's just that community and family atmosphere.
Yeah, it's very different now.
It's like, don't let your kids out of the house, lock
Yes.
the door, make sure they're not walking,
And you follow them on your phone.
fo-
I know where my kids are at all times. I actually don't want to.
I know.
I also feel like, too, I don't know about you growing up, but even as a single mother, my mother drove us to school every day and was home every day. So whatever she did while we were in school was her own, but no matter what,
She was
never
doing
walked
housework,
in.
she was getting food and doing all that.
Never walked into an empty house.
So important.
So important. And now both parents have to work just
Both
to,
parents are work.
especially to live in Reading. Where we are, North Reading, same.
And it's it's just a different lifestyle. And when you go back and my daughter's in the music industry. I listen to the songs of today, and I listen to the songs that I grew up with in my house, and I'm like, oh,
I know.
God, you don't know what you were. And
We
like,
know
yeah,
every
yeah,
one.
My siblings and I know every Diana Ross song, every Anne Murray song.
Right?
We used to sing all the time.
all the time. And then you look at the kids of today, right? The music all has done a reversal.
Yeah.
I'm wearing Puma Adidas sneakers
Yeah.
from like the 70s or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I'll go like, nah, 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 nah,
Yeah.
nah, oh, get out of here. Because it's
It's so
like, who are the icons anymore?
I know,
It's
I
like,
know.
oh, I don't know. All right. So mom was the power broker. She did everything. And it sounds like, and what's really impressive and refreshing to me is that despite her, being alone without your dad and raising all the kids, and there's a lot of responsibility despite the other support, is that she went to your games, she went to the practices, and that means so much.
So much.
Like a lot of kids were like, "Oh no, I don't know if my parents went,"
Yeah.
there," but they remember it later. You're
yeah,
talking
I'm
about
still
it
doing
now.
it.
Yeah.
100%. I don't think she missed a beat. And now that I'm an adult, a mother, I'm also a grandmother. I have
Yes,
a life around where she had her life.
you're too young to
I-
be a
Well,
grandmother.
I know. I think about it. I'm like, oh my God, we didn't even know that she was missing out on a life. It was more, as an adult, I now understand that it was more her loss, if anything, than it was ours.
Right, because you didn't feel like, I mean, obviously
obviously
you were
missed-
young and you
And we
lost your
still
dad, but
cry and think about him daily, but she was 33 years old.
that's
That's
young.
terrible.
That's young, and that's a
Yeah.
lot to do and a lot to
lot to
take
do.
on.
And to grow up. She had to grow up overnight with 4 babies.
Absolutely.
She did it.
Would you consider like, because we always talk about mentors, like I really am a firm
she's it.
believer in mentors. You think that she was,
You're going to make me cry already.
yeah, but our mother's like,
Yeah, she's it.
mother's deceased, and like she and I were like this,
Yeah.
the boys and the Italian moms
Why-
and
oh,
stuff. And
yeah.
it's like, there's that special bond,
100%.
right? But at the same time, the respect. Like my father was the tough guy, but my mother would just look at me like this, and I felt so like,
Disappointment.
right? I can't disappoint her, and that's all
Yeah.
she had to do.
Yeah.
Like anything that she didn't agree with, it was like,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
I'm never going to do that again.
No, it's like you're right because of the respect that
Yeah,
so much
it
respect.
is.
Do you? What impact do you think that she had in how you raised a family, or you were going through high school and
Yeah.
then I know you
Well,
went to college and all that, but
I think her just never like creating a vibe or a picture of loss in our house as much as we felt the loss every day. Like it was right around Christmas. So instead of us crying around a Christmas tree one year, she took us all to New York City. The next year we all got bikes. One year my uncle slept over, and then that became a tradition. Like, you know what I mean? As much as she probably was in her room as sad as she was, we never
You
got
never
that
knew
impact. No, until we were an adult and growing up.
are you crying now?
Yeah, I am crying.
See, that's the Italian.
Very, very Italian. But I
Same.
think that
I think that also teaches you that it's okay to have the emotion and like to show it now. We talk about it more now than I think we did as children, because now we're the adult. And like my brother was 1 and he's him and he wasn't in his life. It's
Right.
amazing.
Right, right. Yeah, so, and you bring up a really good point that I think maybe this younger generation may have it over us on this particular topic, but like feeling vulnerable, like
Yeah.
when I'm older than you are, obviously, but growing up, showing that emotion, showing vulnerability was kind of like,
Don't do it.
don't show that. That means you're weak.
That's right.
But kids of today are like,
Yeah.
oh no, I'm, talking to this one. I got a
Right.
therapist. I got this. I got that. And
Right.
there's less of a stigma.
Which I appreciate.
I do too.
100%. That's one change that I
Right?
think
Is it
we needed.
one?
We'll take that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it just feels like the younger generation, are more in touch with their emotions. Whereby when we grew up, it was like, don't say that. That means there's something wrong with you, or you're weak. Or,
And you didn't even know that.
No.
You didn't know it, but now you can compare the two time changes and you understand.
yeah, it's interesting. And now that being grandparents, now you start to look at it now in a totally different way.
Yeah. My
I'm
grandson cries. I'm like, what do you need? What do you want? What can I get for you? What?
like,
And my daughter's like, he's fine.
How old is he?
I have 5 and 3
5 and 3.
boys. Yeah,
2 boys.
2 boys.
Boys are easier than
Yeah.
girls.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. We'll talk about that after. All right. So you went to Reading High School, grammar school in Reading,
I went to Reading Memorial High School, all through Reading, all
through.
the schools.
and then high school.
High school, I went to Reading High.
Yep.
And then I went to Chamberlain School of Design for interior design first
What do you mean first?
before Salem State to get my.
Oh, before college.
That was a 2-year college.
Where was that?
It was at Mount Ida.
Oh, mine Junior
Newton,
College.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So I went there and got an associate's in interior design, which I still do that as well, which I feel very lucky. But I wasn't ready. I was young, 2 years.
This was right out of high school?
Right out of high school. So 2 years, I just felt like I'm not ready to be in a real job, and I'm actually feel like I'm still missing out on something. And I had always been into fitness, and I was like the only girl at Mount Ida ever going to the gym, and it was like, then I kind of thought about it, and I'm like, yeah, maybe I can do something else. I love the body. I love working out. I loved being active. I was a cheerleader and a gymnast. So then I found Salem State, and I went there for exercise science and a minor in biology.
Awesome.
So I have both.
Both.
Yeah.
Okay, so where did this fitness, love for fitness kind of come from? I mean, you said in high school you were a gymnast.
I
That's
think
so
I was
hard, right?
So hard. I think I was just always active. We were cheerleaders when we were young. My dad was a football coach for Reading Papuana, and my mother made my sisters and I put on a cheer uniform, even though there was no cheerleaders, because if she had to be down there, then. And I don't know, it's just being a part of sports, always being active. And I honestly think that if you weren't doing sports when we were younger, you weren't doing anything. There was no other option. Like, you weren't getting a job at 13 like they do now. They're either, you know what I mean?
Right, but
there was
wasn't
no
that a
after
time
school.
like, did a lot of girls play sports then?
Yeah, I mean, my family was softball, everything.
But
yeah.
competitively?
Competitive, and it's more competitive.
Oh, now it's like
Yeah.
they're
You're
playing.
flying all over the
Yeah,
world.
and they're playing more than the guys
Yeah,
are,
yeah.
right? So, but okay, so gymnastics, I just admire gymnasts. I mean,
very
male,
hard.
female, it's like, oh my God, they're in the best shape
Yeah,
of
they're
anybody,
amazing,
right?
amazing.
So, did you do that independent from high school, or did Reading High have
Reading
a
High had a
gymnastic
as
team?
well. Yeah.
Really? Okay, so you did that, and then you
that.
you were
And I was a
cheerleader.
cheerleader, and then I coached cheering at Reading High as well.
You did.
I did
Awesome.
for a long time. So I think it was just kind of always in my dad's side of the family blood. Like, my dad's side of the family is very active. They were all football players, gymnasts as well.
Yep.
I think it just was a little bit of the side of him that I could bring out.
Got
you
it.
know?
So where did the shift come before Salem State? Where did the shift come for like this artsy
Well, I always
interior
lo-
design?
yeah,
Yeah,
I
like where'd
loved
that
it.
come from? Because that sounds like so.
Totally opposite. I always loved drawing. I was always making houses.
Oh,
like,
okay.
I had a dollhouse when I was younger, and my mother would say, your sister would put the bed in the kitchen, and you'd make sure the bed went back to the bed. Like, I always just loved it. And my family is in real estate.
Oh, okay.
So it was kind of, yeah, I loved it. And I do that now, like with the studios. I've flipped houses, and I know we'll get to the restaurant, but I've designed all the restaurants. And
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's
That's
fun.
awesome.
Thank you.
So you go to Chamberlain.
I go to Chamberlain.
Did you live there or did you drive?
I did. I lived
Oh,
there.
okay. And
loved
then did you finish the 2
I
year?
did. I did.
So
I
like
got
an
my
associates or
associates. Yep.
whatever? Okay. So then you do that in like you said just a minute ago, like you felt that there was more or you were
I just
missing
felt
out.
young.
Like what?
I just felt too young to.
To
wasn't
start a
ready to start a
career.
career. Yeah, and like, where do I start that when my only job experience is like a convenience store in Reading? You know, I just didn't have enough of what I wanted to do yet. So I did get a bartending job and waitressing just in Woburn. And
Not in Reading.
not in Reading.
That's one thing you didn't do in Reading.
One thing.
Yeah.
And I started to like think more and more about it. And then my mother and I looked at schools and I did it. And I'm so glad I did it. My favorite people in my whole wide world are my college roommates. And
So you lived at Salem
I
State,
lived in Salem, but only in the apartments. I met people and then we got an apartment. I never lived in the dorms.
off campus.
Yeah.
So you said exercise science and biology.
Biology, yeah.
Okay. What was that like?
Hard. Kinesiology, a lot of science classes, and complete opposite of what I did for design. You know, I didn't have to do 3D designs or anything like that. You know, it was a lot of learning. And to make fun of myself now, I definitely am not the best reader or like paying attention to things, but when I like it, it comes easy to me. So I knew when I started and I was doing well that I had picked the right thing.
That's,
You know what I mean?
Oh,
'Cause
absolutely.
if you gave me a book right now, I'd read the same page over and over.
Yeah, but
But if it's about fitness or design or something that,
so fitness is your passion.
it definitely is my passion. I teach every class like it's my first one.
That's amazing. And we had a conversation on the phone earlier about, we as business owners sometimes have a difficult time letting go. And you talked about, well, I have to teach this class, I have to teach that class, and you're the business owner, and I know because I'm a business owner, and it's like there's always that emotional tug, I think,
Yeah.
that if I let go, it's not going to be as good as if I did it. But then, what did you say? You got your own peeps or something like
everyone
that.
has their own
You got your
people.
own people, and they're going to want you and all that. And that's just, we'll get into that, but that's like a whole nother. I got a great book for you to read about this
God.
because it's just amazing.
It is a whole mind game, though. I mean, I have amazing managers, and if it wasn't for them, I would have to do so much more.
I know.
So I'm very, very lucky that the team I have, but it's hard to let go sometimes.
Well, you do 170 things like I do, and I was trying to preach to you, and I'm like,
I
wait a
know.
minute, I think I do the same exact thing. We're in trouble. Now I know why
Twins.
we get along very quickly. So, all right, so you go to college, and exercise, science, and exercise is your passion. You've always been like that. What do you do after college?
I got a job right away in corporate fitness with the Wellness Connection. It was outstanding. It taught me so much.
What is corporate fitness as
So there's gyms where
Like
I
in
work.
businesses?
Yeah. So mine was Osram Sylvania, who used to make our light bulbs. They were like the biggest company in Danvers for a very long time. And they had a senior liaison, which was a doctor, and I worked under him. So we'd put programs together. It basically was, there's a gym in their space. but
Inside
these people need to be healthy enough to come to work every day. Everything they do, if they're not here for a day or two, it stops production. So we did a lot of things to keep them healthy. We did a lot of like indoor and outdoor field trips to keep them motivated to do more. And
Wow, that's
I
so
loved it.
interesting. That's mindset. That's
Yeah.
here. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously the body's moving, but that's
Yeah.
like, and this was when, like what time
So
frame?
I'm
We're out.
51.
Yeah, you're young.
Oh my God. So let me think. I had Lily.
Got out of college.
I'm out of college. So I've owned, tried for 11. It was probably close to like 2000s.
That's very,
yeah.
not that, I
Not
mean,
that long
obviously it's
ago, yeah.
but that's
was amazing.
innovative.
Yes.
Right?
When I got that job, my mother was like, "What are you making?" I'm like, "I don't care. I don't care. This is
That is-
exactly what I want to do." And then I just kept building up, and then I ran it, and then I ran the more of them, and I loved it.
So you were getting not only, correct me if I'm wrong, like you're getting business experience too,
Yeah,
right? Because you're learning like
100%.
how to build from scratch, right? So did they build like facilities, or did they already have
They already had
facilities?
so many. Like they had some in Pennsylvania. They
Okay.
had Danvers. They had Lynn right near GE. GE was a part of the Wellness Connection as well. So they also had fitness centers there. They had it at Teradyne, like all different companies started to go under. It was like Wellness Connection was like the umbrella,
I see.
and then all the businesses.
All the
would
businesses,
come
yep.
under it. Yep. I loved it.
And how long were you there for?
My gosh, I'd probably say about 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
Long time. And then I got married and had my daughter.
Yeah.
And then I started working at just a gym in Reading.
In Reading. So you were like as a personal trainer?
I was the aerobic director, personal trainer. I ran the program. Before there was boutique gyms like mine. It was the Reading Athletic Club,
Oh, okay.
which
yeah.
was big.
Yeah.
And we had about, I don't know, I'd say about 120 classes a week.
Oh
the
my
studios. Yeah.
gosh.
An amazing staff. Amazing. They were the most talented people I've ever worked with, besides who I work with now.
Yeah,
Besides Tread.
that you created.
Yeah. Just wonderful.
You worked there while you were raising your
I
daughter?
worked there when I was pregnant. When I started, I was not pregnant. And then I found out I was pregnant, and I stayed, until I've owned Tread 11 years. So only 11 years ago I left.
Wow. So, going through this process before owning your own, back to the mentor type of thing, obviously there's no substitute for your mom as a mentor and a role model. I really feel that having, even if we don't even know their mentors, but people that we can share things with, ask for advice, could be a friend, look up to, it could be a family member or just whatever. How do you feel about that? Do you
Yeah, I definitely have those. I
still
definitely
have them,
do
right?
still. I would say my brother's one of them.
Okay.
He's like,
What's his mind like?
he's like, I'm going to say it, he's like, no bullshit.
Just, it is what it is.
It is what it is. If I ask him, this is what I'm thinking, he's like, do you think that's the right thing? And I'm like, I don't know, that's why I'm asking you. He's like, but I can only tell you, and I'm like, yeah, I think it's the right thing. He's like, then you do it. He's just very direct, and he's very smart, and he also owns his own business, so
Yep.
I just have that. And then I'd say my managers, I don't make a decision without talking to both of them. They're amazing.
Isn't it? And then
And
I
they both
think,
own their own businesses as well, so it's really good. One of them is a CPA somewhere. And
wow. So yeah, I think that as owners or people in charge to not have an ego because, I don't have to tell you, right? In any industry, but also in the industries that we're in, is that there's a lot of ego and people know everything and whatever. And the real successful people have the ability to take a step back and say, hey, wait a minute. Like you said, I'm good with this, but I may not be good with that.
That's right.
When I started out, I opened my first studio in '95. I did everything, right? Because that's what you did.
Same.
It's like,
In the beginning,
right?
same.
You teach the class, you do the marketing, whatever that was, immature and
You do the
childish
payroll,
that
you
it
do
was.
this,
I'd be answering the phone. I'd be, trying to enroll people. You're doing this, you're doing that, and at the end of the day, you're giving 5% to each
Right, you realize you're not doing 100% in it.
on one, right? And yeah, so huge. So, all right, you go, you open, or you run those facilities, you get out, you do personal training, you stay at the Reading Athletic Club. You're teaching all of those
I'm teaching a
aerobic
lot.
classes?
Yeah,
Or like, how
I'm
much are you
teaching a lot.
teaching?
I'm training. So this is basically how I did it. Once I had Lily, there was a daycare there. If the daycare was open, I was working. So if the daycare was, I don't remember exact, say it was 8 to 12, I worked 8 to 12. And then say it was 4 to 7, I worked 4 to 7.
Got it.
While there, and then everything else I could do at home. But I was not going to not be with her. You know what I mean? So if there was
Well, I
and
do
she
know
was
what you
in the
mean because
building.
you know what's standing out on my face is your mother not
same.
missing your
Right.
class or your brother's class or your
Right.
sister's class, right? So
So it was the same thing.
that's the most
I don't
important
think we
thing.
ever had a babysitter. It was the way it worked. And I probably would have stayed there forever. I just think that the market of fitness was changing and studios were popping up left and right. And
Like boutique, like you used the word boutique
like
studios?
myself, yeah.
Okay.
And I, at that time, realizing it, I did very well. It wasn't about the money or anything else. I just felt like if I don't change now, I might get stuck into something.
You might get stuck.
Yeah, and I don't want that. So I
So
stepped
what was
down.
that? All right. Okay. So this is really crucial for me.
Okay.
Is I really love entrepreneurial folks finding out like what was the switch? Like what was the catalyst that took Lori from the 9 to 5, not that you
Pretty
have that,
much,
right?
yep,
The 9 to
yep.
5 mindset. But listen, and I'm not criticizing that 9 to 5 mindset because like you said, you had a child,
Yeah.
you had a, you taught when there was daycare available and et cetera, but you attended all and didn't have a babysitter. So it serves that. And I say it on every show. We go to school, some go to college, some don't. We get a job, you get married, you have a kid, you buy a house, you have a white picket fence, you have 2 dogs, you retire, you have a pension, and then you die.
Right.
Right? That to me is the 9 to 5
Yeah.
mindset. And I was, I worked for 32 years as a probation officer.
you did it.
I went right out of college and stayed in the same job. And then I had a switch. So I want to know about your switch. So what was it?
So at where I was,
Yep.
wonderful people,
Yep.
the members, outstanding. They become your family.
Yeah.
You know, it's who they are. And then the boutiques were opening left and right. So I decided, not knowing what I was going to do, I'm just going to step down and just be an instructor for a little bit. I'm going to take away the position of aerobics director or fitness director, whatever it was called at the time. And I gave them notice and they were looking for someone. And then I felt without guilt that I could try classes at other places.
Oh, I see.
'Cause
Okay.
if I'm running this program
No.
and I'm somewhere else, I didn't feel right about it.
No.
So I stepped down and right away I started taking classes at other places. And I was approached by a place saying, what are you doing here? Oh my God, we would love to have you. And I was honest. I'm like, I don't really know what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to see what's out there. And what you're teaching is outstanding. It was amazing. So for me to teach the way that this person was teaching, I went to New York City
Oh.
and I took soul cycle classes. I took 19 classes in 3 days. Taught myself.
19 classes in
Taught myself.
3 days.
Because every street has one. You just keep rotating. Taught myself how to do it. Came back. Decided to leave where I was. Try something new. And it didn't last as long, but it was the stepping stool that I needed.
What was it that you're referring to? Oh, you don't want to talk about it. Okay, it's fine.
Another studio.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was training as well as teaching. And a friend of mine who lived in California would come back and forth. And I was training her, and she had said to me multiple times, "You are the equity in this place. What are you doing? You need to own your own place." So I thought about it, and I kept saying, and I truly believe this, but I'm okay. Like, I make enough money. My child is happy. I leave when I leave, and I don't have to take any of it with me. I'm great. Then the more I thought about it, she kept saying
The itch.
stuff. The itch came. So at this point, we met, and it's Tiffany. She is my business partner.
Yay.
She's the best. She and I met, and we wrote down on a napkin. Literally, we went to a restaurant. We had no pen and paper. We borrowed the pen from the server, wrote down on a napkin, if this was to happen, what would it be? She went back to California, thought about it. She came back and said, let's just look. If we find a space, it's meant to be. I'm only home for like 3 or 4 days. If it doesn't work, then we move on. You've done it. We found a space. We fell in love with the space, and we basically built Tread on a napkin.
That is awesome. I love the story.
It's awesome.
And as you were
We're
saying,
both from Reading.
of course, where else would you be from? I'm surprised you mentioned California. I'm like, oh, she actually went to California, but she's back now, right?
She's back
oh,
now.
yeah,
She lives in Reading.
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, as you were telling that story, I'm like, it resonates so much because how many great ideas or people's inventions or whatever were developed and built on a napkin
Yeah.
and a pen at a
Simple.
restaurant, simple. Everybody thinks that, it's funny. I think we're the same. You know, you go through different stages of your life and you say, everything's got to be plotted
Yeah.
and planned and then tested and then retested. Now, I get it. Science, I'm not, I mean,
works.
you know that,
Yeah,
right? In
it
science,
works.
that's a different world, right? You have to do that because people's lives and whatever are on the line. I get it. But in the business world or the entrepreneurial world, I find that people get caught up in so much of this. We'll call it noise, right? That seems to be the big word of the times. And they go around in circles. They spin, they spin, they spin, they spin. They have these great ideas, and then there's they get to the 5-yard line and they can't get it in the end zone.
It's
Right?
so true.
And you're like, what are you doing? Like I do a business coaching platform on and another thing that I do. Well, I'll tell you about that later. But and it's amazing because they're very bright people. Like sometimes brighter than I at times. And you're like, what are you doing? Just go do it.
just
And
go do
no, I can't. I have to do. And then at the end of the day, they don't do it.
Right. And then someone else does, and then it's
And
too
someone
late.
else does it.
And that was a big thing too. She kept saying to me, if you don't want to do this, it's okay.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, there's no way you're going to fail. You are the talent. I will be the business. And then once you learn it, you got it.
So just go back for me for one sec. She was a
she
friend growing up or no?
So yeah, she's a family friend growing up.
Okay.
She has
Tiffany,
two
right?
sisters, Tiffany.
Yep.
She has two sisters. They also grew up in Reading. Her parents and my family were good friends.
Okay.
And she went to, I hope everybody's listening, Phillips, Columbia, and Harvard.
Holy moly. That's
And let's remember, I went to Reading, Mount Ida, and Salem State.
that's okay. You're both doing the same. Whoa, she's got an educational background,
right? So when she was in California, she was the CFO of Walt Disney Online.
Holy
She's
moly.
a very, very bright.
And she left that?
She was leaving it anyway.
Okay, but
she didn't leave it to work at Tread.
No, I
She
understand.
left it to come back to where her family was. But think about it, right? She, like your son, we've been talking about it. She's in California,
Yep.
and everyone started having kids, and she realized, I want to be the aunt. I want to have kids. Now she has a son. I want to be here where everybody else is. So she started coming back 1 week a month, and then 2 weeks a month, and then realized this is what I want.
Were you friends? I
We
mean,
were
did you
friendly.
stay in
I
touch
was
the
more
whole
friends
time?
with her sister.
Oh, okay.
We always say that. Marissa was my first bestie.
Okay. But so there was a connection while she was living in
Right,
California,
and when she was
then
home,
she'd
I
come
was
back.
training her. Yeah.
You were training her when she came back. Okay, I get it. So this business plan is developed on a napkin. Boutique gyms are popping up
Everywhere.
and like you said, if you don't do it,
Yeah.
someone else is going to do it.
right.
I mean, you sounds like you would have been fine anyway, but that's what I'm getting is, but look at you now. So you went from that, and then what did you do next?
So then
She's the business mind.
she's the business
yours
mind.
the
I'm
boots on the
learning
ground,
it.
right?
But while we were building it, I didn't teach. I wasn't working. I was learning it. I was
Oh,
with her
okay.
every day, learning the business, working with the builders, creating the design. We did everything together. It was probably, if not better education than I got in school right up to it.
Hands on, right?
Hands on. And she had such patience with me learning it and just creating what our name what was our mission, what were our classes going to be called, how are we going to define what they are compared to what other people are doing. This is how I instruct it. So if I'm going to instruct it this way, then I trained an entire team. I rented space and we trained everyone. There was only a few of them that had ever taught before. So it was, all of that. And then once we opened,
Where's
6 Linden Street in Reading, Tread. It's the Cycle and Fitness Studio.
that's the
The
original.
original.
And
It
when
used to
did
be
you?
Betty's Thrift Shop.
Betty's what?
Thrift Shop.
I love it. My first studio was a barber shop. So
There you go. There you go.
so, oh, this is cool.
It was great.
So you're getting a real good business education. Like, what's the business model gonna
right.
be?
I would show up at her office. Everyone knew me. They'd be like, oh, it's Tread time. We're like, I just need her for an hour. I need her for an hour. So we'd go in the conference room, me, her, and Lily, my daughter,
and we'd write on the whiteboard. I'm like, I don't like the way that sounded. I have to send it to, this, we're having it printed. And she'd be like, all right, it was like a whirlwind now. I can't even imagine that that's how we did it.
So, but you did it from
So we did
scratch.
it. But I rented a house here with Lily at this point. And then she rented an apartment down the street, and we were like crossing. We're like, this isn't working. So what are we going to do? We're going to buy a 2-family. So we bought a 2-family.
So now you're into real estate.
Now we're into real estate, and I could put Lily to bed. Now she has Nicholas. She could put Nicholas to bed. We'd meet in the common room at our own house, and we'd be able to finish the business.
No way.
Yeah.
How long? All right, so wait a minute.
At this point, I'm divorced from Lily's father. This is a lot.
I'm trying to unravel it in my head because it's great. This is how, like,
you might need take 2. You might need 2 of these.
we will be doing, absolutely, absolutely. This is awesome. So, but look at the drive and the motivation and the passion, and both of you
she's
have and
outstanding.
had. I'd love to meet her.
Yeah.
So you're in a makes sense though, right? 2-family house. You're meeting when her son and your daughter are sleeping, and so how long did this take before you opened your first studio? Not take, but how long did it take to develop?
I would say about the development while we were really getting like the lease of the space and everything was about 2 to 3 months. So we had already started, because if this wasn't the space happen, if it didn't happen, we knew we were going to do it. So
you made your decision.
like you had said, we weren't going back.
No.
We already have everything we need. We're starting the program. We bought our business name. We did all of that. We trademarked. We were doing all that. We signed the lease at the 6 Linden Street location, and then started advertising that this is what we were going to be doing. Because now at this point, I don't think I was teaching for like 4 months. So you lose people. They're going somewhere else. So I had to like keep them in the vibe, intrigued.
How did you do that?
I have a friend who owns a yoga studio, and she had
That's
empty spaces like you and I were talking about.
Yeah.
So she's like, if you want to teach here while you can. So I would do a class here and there, get people in. Some of her people started staying with her. It was a great connection. It was really good.
Oh, that's good.
So I felt very lucky about that. And then it probably took about 6 or 8 months to build the place. It didn't take that long. It was very small. I was very afraid.
How many square feet?
You're going to laugh.
No, I'm not.
1,100.
Yeah, you know what mine was?
How much?
500.
Okay.
It was a barber shop, I told you. And you know what the greatest thing was? I opened up, the place was filled, right? But I just stacked one kid on top,
had to.
this, that. And I'm like, holy cow, I got all these people.
I
And
can
I'm
go
like, in my
bigger.
mind, is it because the place is small, it looks like big or whatever. But then I busted through the wall, and then I moved to it. Yeah.
I feel the same way. I'm so glad. It's still my baby. Like I taught 2 classes there, 1 class there today. And it's just, I love it. I look around and I'm like,
It's
this
like your
started
second
it
home,
all.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
best.
I have a nice office in the North Reading location, and I just go in there and I go,
It's the
right?
best.
You just feel
Yes.
peace and a different, and I live literally 2 minutes.
I work better in the studio than I do at
Yeah,
home.
you got to get out of the house. Some people
wanna do
can
the laundry, I
Yeah,
don't wanna do the
no. You get
dishes.
distracted,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, how'd you come up with the name? Obviously, Tread. I'm going to guess treadmill.
Yeah, but we're bikes. We started with bikes.
Yeah, because you did all the you mentioned that
did,
you would do.
yes.
All right, so how do you come up with the name?
We came up with a name that didn't stick us to one thing. We didn't want to be like
Oh, I see.
Laurie's Gym or Spin Studio. We didn't want to be that. We knew we wanted to always be something more than what the name was. So we chose Tread, and the description we chose was to beat or press with your feet.
Oh,
So our
I like that.
spin classes are called Tread Beat because we ride to the beat of the music. Our fitness classes are Tread Press because we use weights. And then our second location is Tread on the Mill, and it's a treadmill studio.
Okay, we're
So,
going to get into that
yeah,
because you
we're
told
gonna
me a
get
little
into
bit
that.
about that.
Yeah.
So go back to, like, this is like
Okay, go
brilliant.
ahead.
Because when I think of tread, I'm like, my brain goes to treadmill.
Right.
But then I started thinking as you're talking, tread, like you
Yeah.
tread on your
Yeah,
shoes
even you walk,
or
it's a
whatever,
tread on
walking.
your shoe. That's right.
So you combine in one or both of the schools, schools.
Yeah.
Sorry, my brain is on karate, right? Studios, the obviously a huge aerobic thing. I watched
Yeah.
some of your stuff online. I said, I would have a heart attack.
it's
You were doing some fundraiser
Yeah.
somewhere like a few years ago outside. And I'm like, yeah, right. Even my best of days, that ain't happening, right? And I think that's when I first saw you on social media. I'm like,
She's great.
you're screaming and yelling. And so you get the Soul Bikes. Is that what?
So-
tell me about that.
So we
Cycle or whatever?
I always was a spin instructor, but I also taught kickboxing, like air kickboxing.
Yeah, yeah.
Press classes, fitness classes, FECTA classes, which is like a HIIT class.
What is it called?
FECTA. So
Okay.
it's like a HIIT class, 30 on, 30 off.
Okay.
For a minute you time it. And so our first location, the goal was to make the spin room the larger room because that's really what I was coming from, is teaching a lot of spin classes.
Okay.
And then we had a second room, which was small, but we could teach fitness classes in it. So
Weights and stuff?
weights and kettlebell and
Okay.
stuff like that. And then, if I may go on, you tell me.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then when we
absolutely.
started growing, we realized like the space was small, and the fitness room was also our entrance. So
Oh, okay.
we added like a beautiful pergola. Someone from North Reading actually did it for us. It
Yeah.
was wonderful. We added a pergola with like benches built in, so when people were waiting, they had somewhere to wait. Otherwise, they were like in the classroom. They didn't know what to do.
Yeah, I know.
And then we felt like, okay, we're going to max out.
Isn't that a
So-
beautiful thing?
It's a beautiful thing. So Tiffany was in New York for work, and her dad, who is the most unbelievable man, he's our builder and our super, and he's outstanding. He and I went looking around. He was like, I don't understand why you want another space in Reading. I said, because I'm going to build something different. And if they're at Tread 1, it's what we call it now, and they want to take a class at the next location because it works timing-wise, like to do a double or to meet a friend and then go get coffee, I want it to be in the vicinity of where we already are. So
That is not a typical
or smart.
approach,
Right.
but it sounds like it really worked.
Yes.
So you opened up a second studio.
6 months later.
You told me that last night. 6 months later, like you're still building.
Yeah.
You're like, people usually take a loss their first 3 years,
Yeah.
right? You're building your first brand. You open up another location in the same town. How far away?
2 streets.
2 streets.
You walk.
Holy,
amazing.
where? All right, stop for a second
Okay.
because this is really cool. Where did, like, tell me about that mind thought process because that's so
I think Tiffany's-
unconventional.
right.
And that's
Tiffany's
why you
thing
are who you are,
was-
successful.
Tiffany's thing was, okay, if you're already getting bored, this is not going to go well. Like, I told you to do this, and now.
Immediate gratification,
I'm
right?
like, and I wasn't bored. I knew I could teach more, and I knew our team could grow, but within our space, we had no more growth,
Okay.
right?
But you open another one?
So we opened another one.
As opposed to getting a larger space for
Yes,
the
because
first
I
one.
had just spent all that money on building out. So my thought was,
Okay, yeah.
right? Like, I don't have the money to rebuild that and make it big. I don't know. It just didn't. We loved it. We loved the first space. So
Okay.
when Tiffany was in California, I had said, like, what's up and coming? What are they doing in California where we get it second? Actually, third. New York gets it, then we get it. So there was this gym that she had told me about. It was called the Sweat Garage in California,
Sweat Garage.
and it was treadmills and strength training. And
Treadmills and
I was like,
strength.
okay. So she took half of our team. They went to California, and they did it. Probably not as much as if I was there. They
Yeah,
partied
not
a
as
lot.
many classes.
They partied a lot.
Yeah.
But wonderful. And we had like a bond. I didn't go. They had like a bonding weekend, and they took a bunch of classes, and they all came back after being there saying, yes, this is what we should do. So we created our own vision of what that looked like, and I wanted it to be a garage type of space, and we found one, and it wasn't for rent, and I asked him again,
And then we asked him again. And then he said yes.
So tell me about that space.
So it is.
What's
we
that
have
called?
Tread on the Mill.
Tread on the Mill.
So we have 13 treadmills, Woodway treadmills. They're amazing.
What's the name of them?
Woodway.
Woodway.
And then we have 13 fitness spots. So you're not partners per se, but like if you're on treadmill
One's on the
four,
yeah.
yes, and I'm on the floor 4, I'm going to do something that the instructor asked me to do, and then you're going to do something on the treadmill. and
switch.
you switch. And you do about 3 to 4 switches in the class. It's packed. If no one wants to run more than 6 minutes, do you?
I'm looking at you like, huh?
You want to do, you could.
I'm not doing anything.
You're doing it.
I'm going to come watch.
Yes, you should come watch.
So how big is that facility?
So that's probably our biggest space just because the treadmills are really big.
Yeah.
And we also have what we call double floor. So if you want to just be someone who lifts and you don't want a cardio anymore, a lot of people do that. So they have a spot on the
So
floor.
like a freestanding type
freestanding
of thing.
spot.
All right.
we
And what? Tell me about these treadmills. Like
So-
how are they different?
Woodway has an individual tread on each of their things. So like if you were to run on a treadmill at like a gym, I don't want, no name needed.
Yeah.
They're flat and you run. These are like, they're like cushions under your feet. They're individual treads. So as you run, the tread moves with you.
Ah,
It's amazing. So it's like a tire tread. in
I
a
get.
sense. They're
Okay, so
really
much
thick.
thicker than just a little
Yes.
strap.
There's-
That's
None of this.
yeah.
They have a decline on them. They have a sled where you can like push the treadmill with your legs yourself.
so you can
It's
move
called
them.
Dynamic mode. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Oh,
They're
awesome.
wonderful.
So how is that facility doing?
Great. Great. That's probably right now one of our busiest.
Really?
Yeah. I think there's a lot of, how do I want to say it? I think it gets you back into feeling like you're athletic again, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to be a runner. We have some people that walk. Sometimes I tell them they're not running. Their incline is very high.
So you get people from all walks of
All
life,
walks of
like
life.
different. Like what's
Yeah.
the age?
I'm not a runner. I tell people all the time I'm
Could
not
never.
I'm not
Have
a
you
runner.
ever seen someone running that had a smile on their face?
Yeah, someone who works for me.
Well, I've
They're
never
crazy.
seen it, right? I think everybody I see running
Looks unhappy.
looks like they are just like, gonna die.
Yeah.
It's like,
Not
no.
in the spin room, I'll tell you. They're all smiling.
Okay, so can we go back just for 1 second of how you have two facilities? Because I'm starting to think as you're telling me. So my
know, you can
brain's,
do it.
yeah, we'll talk after. But there's not competition,
No.
right? Do they intertwine?
Yes,
Like, do
very
you
well.
have cross pollination of members?
Yeah, oh yeah. So we have different memberships. So you could, as we call it, platinum. We have a platinum membership where
You can use,
you can use all 3 facilities because we have one in Winchester as well.
Oh,
and then,
boy.
or you can do just tread on the mill and just treadmill classes.
got it.
So yeah,
So now you just mentioned Winchester. All right. My brain is getting, now I'm like, yeah, now I know why I asked you to be on the show. So Winchester, you decide to expand when?
one more time we decided. I believe so. Tread 1 will be 11 in August.
11 years old.
Yep.
Yep.
We just celebrated our 10-year, which was
Awesome.
the best year. We had
Congratulations.
such a fun year celebrating.
Awesome.
Tread on the Mill is 9, will be 10 this year. So that means Winchester's about 8 years old, September.
What made you now bring yourself back a little? You got these 2 successful studios running. You got a staff, you got instructors, you got more staff. Like, then what?
So at that time, we had more staff than obviously we have with just Reading. And our instructors wanted more, but there was no more times.
Oh, they wanted more time
they
to
wanted
work,
more times to instruct.
to do instruct.
Yeah, and like if there's a spin class Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9:30, and it's full, and you have a wait list, there's nowhere room for them. There just isn't. There isn't room for more people to come.
People
in.
get frustrated.
And the room was smaller compared to what I
Got
did
it.
in Winchester. So we weren't sure if it was definitely Winchester, but one of my managers is an accountant for a company in Winchester. And she saw the space. Her building where she works is right across from it. And she saw the space and was like, I don't know, I feel like you need to look at it. This building is very busy.
Is it in Winchester Center?
No,
No.
'cause there's no parking. We are, I don't know, do you know where
The tennis courts are in Winchester, Hoover and Winchester line. We're right near, oh my God, why can't
What's that?
Gingerbread. We're right near Gingerbread.
Oh, okay. I know where you are. Okay. All right. And what type of facility is that?
So that's like Tread One. It's a spin and fitness, much bigger.
Much
so
bigger.
my spin studio in Reading has 34 bikes.
Wow.
And my spin studio in Winchester has 39.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a big space.
big space.
Do you travel all
I
three?
teach at all three of them every day.
Yeah, we know about how many
Going to
times you.
Winchester tonight.
Yeah, I know you are. You already taught classes this morning. I know. So that's going well too.
Yep, we have a hut room. We do Pilates and yoga in that studio as well.
You do that
I
like
don't. I have instructors that do.
when you turn the temperature up to 900 degrees and
Not inferno, but
your blood pressure goes up to whatever, and then like I haven't figured that one out yet, but whatever.
love it.
People love it.
They love it.
Right? They love it.
Yeah.
And that's all right. So that's going 8, you said?
about 8 years old. in
8 years
September,
old.
yeah.
Okay. What may I ask? Okay, no more. So on the fitness side, you said you were 51. You're very young. Where do you see on the fitness side for you, like in the next few years? Like what?
Yeah, I don't feel like I'm ready to slow down. It's funny, my accountant will say,
Oh, I know you're not slowing down.
do you have an exit interview
Exit
ready?
plan?
Yeah, and I'm like, no, not yet. And he's like, all right, that's great. Yeah, I don't know. I think I will say that my team is definitely thriving, and I am so proud of them that I see growth in them, and which means that I can start to step back a little bit, which will make me, I will do that. I mean, you can hear it in my voice. Your body gets tired. Even though I'm ready to go, it's definitely an exhaustion.
Ready to go. Like you're an Energizer bunny on wheels. I feel like I'm 110 just listening to you. And I'm thinking, holy cow. So you teach the classes, you're running, you're managing, you're doing all that stuff. And so I've always I think you and I connected a couple of times on on social media because we're in the same relative space. Area, and then I had the wonderful opportunity of meeting you again and reuniting in person at this lovely restaurant in Reading. So now tell me about this restaurant thing.
Oh,
Because wait a minute, I'm going through interior design.
yeah.
I'm going through, I think you mentioned, not today, but yesterday, about this other recruiting job you had.
I was a recruiter
Yep,
for a little
talked about that. And then California, New York, to this, to that, to boom, ba, boom. So what's this? Tell us about the restaurants.
So, Jason, Karen, my husband, is a very, very well-known chef. He's amazing. He was a partner at Fleming's for many years and opened all of them around the world.
Wow.
And created their menu and decided to kind of get out behind the kitchen and start doing some consulting. And he did very well with it. And, saving restaurants at times. Or helping them with just their menu items, or why isn't this selling?
Tough
My
business.
costs are too high. Can you help me? And then our good friends, the DiBiase's, built the building behind the old post office in Reading. And we saw that space was going to be a restaurant. Well, that's what they wanted it to be. And it sat. And then we looked at it right before COVID, and we thought, I don't know, can we do this? It's, restaurants are a tough business.
Oh my gosh.
Can we
I think
do
it's
it?
probably one of
Oh,
the
it's-
toughest, right?
I would open 10 studios.
I was
before
just going to
yeah.
say, yeah, I would too. And I don't know
Yeah.
I don't know the ins and outs of restaurant, but I watch the people and I'm like, oh, what the nope.
Crazy. So the long short of it is we walked away at that time. Someone else purchased it, and then COVID happened. Unfortunately, for many businesses we saw, they weren't
tough.
successful. It's very tough. And they never opened, and then it went back on the market. And we looked at it, and we just said, for this to happen twice, I think
That's a sign,
it's
right?
a sign.
That's more than a sign.
It's a sign. And again, to bring up family, my brother bought the building, and then we own the restaurant.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So tell us the name of the restaurant and where it's
It is
located, because it's
It's
all over
spectacular.
everywhere. Go ahead.
Thank you. It is post 1917 Steakhouse. We have Reading and now Lexington.
Reading was first?
Reading was first. Reading will be 2 in April.
2. Okay.
And Lexington was born at like the end of July.
So this past July,
Yeah. So we're not
is that same different name
same thing. Post 1917 Lexington.
from because this one was a post office.
This one was a post
Post
office,
office.
and it was my post office. So Jason's from.
Of course, it was your post office, Laurie.
Jason's from Connecticut, so
Oh.
he's not even from
So
here.
yeah,
He-
so the name probably didn't matter to him.
we kept the same thing, like Tread. We kept going, what's the name going to be? What are we going to do? And then we were like, oh my God, we're like staring at it. There's a plaque on the building that says the architecture was approved in 1917, but it wasn't built until 1934.
Oh,
So we were like,
so you
you know
go,
what?
let's do post
We're gonna-
19 cents.
That's going to be it.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. So I saw you at the restaurant, and now that I'm thinking, so you've got 3 studios that are booming.
Yeah.
Your husband, is he the chef there, or is he still, or just managing?
No, he's the executive chef.
Executive chef. You're there doing whatever you're doing, because in a restaurant, you're like, it doesn't matter what position you are, you do everything.
Do everything.
So you're doing everything there. Where do you find the time?
Well,
Tell me about tell me for people out there about this work-life balance.
I do find that I do make time for my friends and my kids,
What about for you?
but that's what's important to me.
Okay.
Yeah. I will say Sunday is like my day. When I'm done, no matter what,
Yes, I'm the
easy to say
same
no.
way.
Yeah. Do you want to go to
Just-
dinner? No.
No.
I feel like 2:00 is my peak. I work all morning, or I go to the restaurant if there's an event and he needs my help.
Yeah.
But between like 2 and 3, I say goodbye, everybody, and I sit.
You have
Yeah,
to.
Sundays are that day. And for the restaurant, we're not open on Mondays. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
his day to like catch up or,
Yeah, but
do
there's
whatever
always
he has to
paperwork
do,
and
but
stuff
there's
like
always-
that. That's
yeah.
crazy.
So, yeah. But I feel like he has been so great with Tiffany and I continuously wanting more with Tread that I couldn't keep saying no.
No.
Yeah.
So it's just so interesting to me, and you have a family member or a spouse that is doing basically what you're doing all the time, and it's oftentimes difficult
Yeah.
to find a work-life balance, right? And I love to read, and I love to people and entrepreneurs and everything, and they talk the 80-20 rule,
Yeah.
and all those different things, and it's like you don't and I don't see this as work.
I don't.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's really a passion, it's a drive. And sometimes you really can't explain it to people. Correct me if I'm
No, you're
wrong. Like
right.
people go, "What the hell are you doing?" I go, "I don't know what." At 62, I don't know what I want to do when I
Right.
grow
I don't
up.
know. I'm not done.
Right? Are you retiring?
I know, I hate that
What
word.
is
Don't
that?
say that word. I also feel like I talk to a lot of people every day, and they're like, I go to work just because I need to. I'm like, that's terrible. That breaks my heart.
Well, no, I think you're at a station in your life. I mean, you raised your daughter, and
No. Some people don't like what they're doing. They just go because that's what they have to do.
I know that's the 9 to 5 mindset that I'm saying. Like, we need to be able, and that's why I started this podcast. I said, let me interview and bring in really successful entrepreneurs that had regular jobs or didn't have regular jobs and like are flourishing now. And as much as we both want to say, like, I got to teach 3 classes, if you didn't want to teach the class, you didn't have to teach the class. You want to teach the class. I want to teach the class, right? So you have that freedom, and you're not clocking in and clocking out. Sometimes, and most of the times, we're doing more than if we clocked in and clocked out.
Right.
But it's on our own terms, and you mentioned something early. It's like it's something that we love to do. Right? So it's not work. All right, we've got a couple of minutes left. We're winding down. We definitely have to have session number 2. Maybe we'll do
Jay
it at
and
the
I-
Tread Studio.
me
yeah,
and Jay will come, yeah.
So let me ask you a couple of questions. You're definitely an inspiration in general, and I can attest to that. But for young women, right? Or even, it doesn't even have to be young women. It can
I
be
was 40.
young guys, right? So the younger generation, kids like, whether it's college, not, there's a huge boom in vocational schools
Yeah,
now versus
wonderful.
traditional,
Right.
high schools. There's all this stuff. But the younger generation is still, I think, bounces a lot more than you and I would bounce. Like they'll work for 6 months. I don't like that. I'll go to the next
100%.
thing, right? Don't you feel that? Because they're like, oh no, if we don't like it, we just leave. I'm like, leave. I stayed there 32 years,
Right.
right? So there's like, is there something in between?
Right.
So what advice would you give for the younger generation, for those that say, hey, you know what? Maybe I don't want to like go into an office and work, 9 to 5. How do how
I
can
think
you
they have to
encourage?
learn how to talk to their parents too, because I think the communication within like our generation, again, that's all we knew. You either went to college or you went to trade school. You didn't not do one or the other.
Right.
Or you were a stay-at-home mother, you had kids at 23. No one's doing that anymore.
No.
And that's okay.
Yep.
But I think you have to learn early enough to communicate with the right people on what you want. Because if you're not guided in the right way, then
Yeah.
you are going to get lost. A quick example, my daughter went to college and lived there in the beginning, and I wanted her to love it. I didn't think she would, but she said to me, Mom, I have to try this. If I don't try it, I will never know. And she didn't love it.
Yep.
And I said, well, you're going to stay this semester. We agreed, and you're going to do what you have to do to get into the next school for you. And she did it all by herself, and she did it wonderfully. So you have to also put it back on them too. And don't be afraid to try something and fail. That's okay.
Yeah,
We weren't always successful.
No.
I mean, there were times where I was like, Tiff, there's only 8 people in the room. She's like, it's okay. It's okay. They're going to.
Are we gonna make rent this
How are we
month?
gonna
Oh
do
my
this?
God.
But 8 people, if they like it, are going to tell 8 more people. You just have to know where you're going to start to where you want to end. You can't. I mean, they're 18 years old. These kids get out of school at 18, and we expect them to know what they want to do. You can't do that.
No, you can't.
And it's okay to do something for a long period of time and then decide differently.
100%.
You know?
100%. Yeah, that's great advice. And there's so many more questions I want to ask you, and I would love to have you to come back on because, like I said, the Energizer. Whew, I think that you truly make an impact in people's lives. I feel that. I can feel the energy just going boom, 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 and that you can really help a lot of people. And I look forward to collaborating with you more. I think we have a very similar mindset. 100%. And I hope that you come back on the show. If people want to go to how do we reach, obviously, Tread,
So
it's in Reading,
Wait,
but
no,
there's
let me tell
no
you this.
Winchester. How do we?
Guess what the email is?
What?
Treadreading.com.
Tread Reading. Of course, you would never not mention Reading.
So if you wanna check us out.
Treadreading.com.
Yep, we just rebranded after 10 years. We have a fabulous new website.
Okay, so they can go on there, find all the classes, do all that. Is the Winchester
It's
on
under the same one. with
under
one
the same
umbrella.
one, on the same umbrella? So you got 3, and then you got the 2 restaurants.
Post1917.com, and they're both under the same website. It will say Lexington or
Lexington and North Reading. Awesome.
Reading.
Reading. I'm sorry. I live in North Reading. I'm sorry. Reading. It was a pleasure and honor having you
too.
on the
Thank
show.
you
and
so
thank you
much.
so much. It was amazing. Thank
I
you.
felt great. Thank you.